Billy Gill is here, and not unlike Jalen Rose, it's important that we interview him in a way that is a little bit of interrogation, because I saw the shame on his face when he threw the first pitch. When he threw the first pitch, I saw that you looked and felt he's off today. It's a work from home day, but we're bringing him in as a correspondent on honorary first pitches to shed some light. Can you shed some light on what happened with your FIU first pitch? I saw that you were throwing a lot of warm-ups. You were getting coaching from Chris Cody, and you seemed really disappointed by the results.
Pause up, Dan. I don't know if that's how I would phrase what happened. I'd say that yesterday was, an incredible success. It was a glorious, it wasn't homecoming per se, because it wasn't, like an official homecoming game. It was a rivalry game between my FIU Panthers and those dreaded University of Miami Hurricanes from across town. And they invited me to come, and they said, hey, would you like to throw out the first pitch? I said, absolutely. How can I say no to going back home to FIU, a place that helped raise and form me to the man that I am today? Dan, before we get to the first pitch, I'd also just like to say thank you to Dr. Jessel, the school president. Incredible. We spent a lot of time with him.
I don't really want an acceptance speech. I want to chronicle how disappointed you look when the ball left your hand.
Especially as you're reading it off a sheet. You don't even know the guy's name off the top of your head.
I absolutely do. We spent like 3 innings together. I was invited into the athletic director's box during the game. Scott Carr, incredible man. He's rebuilding that program.
You're filibustering to avoid. Okay, we can talk about FIU. Let's do that another day. FIU baseball and celebrating FIU.
Let's spread.
Let's talk about how disappointed you looked. Chris Cody, what were your thoughts when you saw the pitch? Because I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. I didn't think he should be disappointed by it.
I thought everything leading up to it, he looked the part. Like his form was good. He did the hop over the line. He just, he had a good energy towards all the players. All the warm-up stuff looked good. He had a guy catching for him. He didn't bring a glove. I told him it's like a weird move to bring a glove.
Billy, what made you go with the sinker ball there? Like, did you choose to throw the sinker as your first pitch, or did that just come out of your hand weird? Like, what happened there? Because we're looking at the video, and it didn't actually hit the dirt. The catcher did a lot to save you there.
Right. It's not in the real-time video, it looks like a short hop. The guy catches it in the air. Technically not a short hop. Better than I thought. But I think he did well, man.
Great sinker, low and outside.
He went from the top of the mound. A lot of people go from the front of the mound. I give Billy a good 7.8. I thought he looked the part.
Wait a second. Who's got the best first pitch for us?
George W.
Yeah.
Was it that good?
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? A little
two-seamer.
It was a strike.
Two-seamer working no longer back. American. Get out of here.
It was a good
with a bulletproof vest on.
It was a good first pitch. I will not have you blaspheme against it and bring politics into this. I won't allow you to do it.
God forbid anyone bring politics into the conversation about the former president of the United States.
We're talking about a first pitch here.
I watch that every 4th of July.
Hell yeah.
That and Lex Luger body slamming Yokozuna.
Tony, what would you give it a 7.8?
I would not, Dan. I would give that. See, you have to look at the warm-up, too, because I was looking at the warm-up videos. Billy looked like a quarterback that has his wide receiver catch the ball for him and then give him the ball. So Billy didn't have any glove with him. They were playing catch, and another guy was playing catch with him and then would toss Billy the ball. And then Billy would kind of throw haphazardly back the other way. I needed Billy really, like, throwing him out there, throwing seeds at the catcher back there to get his arm really ramped up for that first pitch. But he wasn't doing it. So I'd probably give it like a 5.9 maybe.
Billy, what's your assessment?
I think it went okay. I mean, before I went out onto the field, I talked to head coach Rich Whitten, and he said, hey, you should throw it as hard as you can. And I said, I'm not going to be doing that, coach. I'm going to be going up to the mound, and I'm just going to try to get it in there. You know what I mean? The only goal is not to bounce it. Now, beforehand, I had practiced. I went over. My dad insisted that I practice, so I went over to his house beforehand. And I have a bucket of baseballs in my trunk at all times for whatever reason. We threw about 3 or 4 buckets of practice throws. He measured out the distance. We couldn't account for the mound height. He tried to. He put 2 blocks of wood. He said it was 10 inches, so he wanted me to stand on the blocks of wood, old fence posts. And I said, I'm not going to be doing that because knowing me, I'll probably sprain my ankle before the pitch, and I need to make sure to get there. I also, by the way, had an eye doctor appointment before, Dan, and I was worried that I was going to have to go to Baskin Palmer and have eye surgery because it was not going well at the beginning, but we were able to avoid that. So I went out. Obviously, I didn't step on the line. You can't step on the line.
He hopped over.
Went out there. I hopped over it. I went out to the mound, and, it's a surreal moment where thousands upon tens of thousands of people were chanting your name as you're out there.
That's not what was happening
at FIU.
That's not the crowd that was out there. You were not doing this at the World Baseball Classic.
To
be a fly on the wall, or actually they were outside.
Finally.
So to be a fly in the air when Billy and his dad are outside and his dad's walking off the distance. Come on, can we all just visualize this? This is adorable.
What did your dad have to say about the first pitch?
He told me that if I had thrown that to Mike Stanton, he would have struck out.
Oh, he's right.
Stanton.
That's true.
I mean, that's true.
That's sinker away, blowing away.
Let me jump in here. Let me jump in here.
Yeah.
Billy, I think you've been unfairly judged.
Thank you.
Because I just watched this George W. Bush pitch. He threw it right down the middle. It hung right there, man. Whoever
It was a two-seamer.
That thing started out on the outer edge and worked back to the middle.
No, man.
Kyle Ripken would have hit that out of the park in an All-Star
700
game.
feet at least. 700 feet at least. Billy's guys are chasing it. See, it's sinking. It's going away. Guys are chasing it, and then they're in the dirt.
I don't think you
Billy's
understand
pitch.
the point of the
Billy,
first pitch.
No. I've heard from many people that was a very good 0-2 pitch.
Great pitch.
Billy, can you tell me what you were aiming for? Like when you imagined how this was going to go, did you say to yourself getting up there, I need to throw it high to make sure not to bounce it? I need to kind of try and throw it high toward the catcher's head, or I'm afraid of throwing it over the catcher's head? Like what? A lot of people get scared in that moment from the pressure.
Yeah.
What was your strategy and what did you imagine?
Well, you know me, I'm Joe Cool. So I went out there, ice running through my veins, and I said, let me keep my composure. If anything, let me not do too good, because then people will say, oh my God, like, is Billy like actually a real person? So, you know, maybe it scraped the dirt. Maybe the catcher. Some people are saying, not me, of course. I'm very grateful for the entire experience.
Please answer my question.
Dr. Jessel.
Please answer my question.
Some people say that the catcher was a little bit far back, and maybe that's why it could have kind of scraped the dirt. I wouldn't say that.
Please answer my question.
Some people are saying.
Well, so I went out there, and obviously you have to throw high. But again, I didn't practice on a mound, so it's an incline. So, you know, it goes very fast, Dan. When you hit the mound, you don't want to be too look at me. You want to just get through it. As Mike Fuentes, who was there recording, said, "Wow, I spent 2.5 hours for 48 seconds of video."
Well, I mean, if
he told me,
if we're gonna be a little critical, Mike Fuentes is a little slow getting behind you. Not a great camera angle.
Also, Billy, why'd you fast pitch?
You kind of fast pitched him. He was kind of getting the scene of you walking up there. You got up to the mound and started pitching. I was like, I wanted the angle.
Guys.
I wanted the angle from right behind Billy.
Okay, so here's the thing. We did talk. We didn't really set up how the camera situation was going to go, right? And the game was delayed by rain, so we're already late to starting. Then they announced me to a crowd of people who don't know or care who I am. So then I'm like, do I wave? What do I do? So I did like a little awkward, like, because no one really cares who I am or cares that I'm there. And then I was just like anything else, like, let me just get this done as quickly as possible so they can get on with the game people actually want to see.
Billy, were you hurried because you were scared and self-conscious?
Maybe I didn't like actively say, let me do this quick. I just went out there. I said, make sure you don't step on the line. Make sure you don't bounce it. Then I bounced it. And then, you saw me kind of defeated. And then everybody was very nice to me, telling me that it wasn't as disappointing as I thought it was, which they all lied to me. I'm just surrounded by yes men and liars.
Billy, I'm going to say this also. I think you were under more pressure throw this than George W. Bush was in his first
Okay, Chris Cody,
I don't disagree.
I'm saying,
it wasn't a rivalry game.
Chris Cody, what do you have
the
for
real
Billy?
impressive thing, the most impressive thing.
World Series.
Yeah, it was a Diamondbacks.
No,
I mean, who cares?
First of all, Second of all, everyone was rooting for him to succeed. Billy had a bunch of people rooting for him to fail who are in this room. Who have a platform.
Pony sponsors were out in full force.
They always are. It's crazy.
Oh, I saw some at the Heat game, by the way.
They love. They're everywhere, man.
The haters.
Billy, also,
you're one of them.
No, impossible. Billy, why didn't you go to Tamiami Park, literally right across the street, and pitch from the mound there a little bit?
Speaking of Tamiami Park, get this. So I'm at the game, and pitching in the second pitcher to enter the game for FIU, Orlando Hernandez. El Duque's son is on the team. Also on the team, Joe Girardi's son. And after the game, Joe was there. Well, he was there the whole game, presumably. But I saw him there after the game. It's a who's who. What's that?
Is he going to sign you to a contract somewhere?
I don't know, maybe.
You?
They did ask me. I will say this about the athletic department, and again, Scott Carr, athletic director.
All right, that's enough. I'm done with the FIU.
They asked me
department.
if I still have eligibility left, and
Thank
I said,
you, Billy.
I think I do.
Appreciate your time.
El Duque. Last night you were the Duque.
Thank you, Billy. Appreciate your time.